Shalom, give more praise. QADASH. What does it mean? Or Matthew's 25:41. Is that talking about an eternal hell? So this was a comment put up. Okay, this is from the video Ninja. What did you just say? Hell is what? From 4 Jabez. I already know who it is. Somebody from IUIC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the precept, and then I'll go on to other topics. I may go into Joel 3. I might just go into that, and I'll go back into what we call the breakdowns. So I don't know how long this is going to be. This is further proof that the IUIC, at least that group, they now teach that that there's two hells. There's hell, there's a hell condition on the earth, and then there's if you're not into this truth, that you're gonna burn in hell forever. And that includes Israelites, which is clearly doesn't make any sense when you go to Romans chapter 11, 25 and 26. I mean, the 26th verse says, all Israel shall be saved. It says something to the effect, I shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob, meaning you're going to be forgiven. Israel's going to be forgiven. So that would mean, is Saul burning in hell? Or is he just asleep? And he's waiting to, go back into hell? It doesn't make sense. It's almost pretty much as a Roman Catholic doctrine. Because the sleeping part, I guess you can equate that to purgatory. Purgatory is like you're not in hell, and you're not in your dead state. You're not in hell, and you're not among the living. You're just like in the middle state, and then eventually, we go to Revelation 20, verse 10 on down. That's when you're going to be sentenced to hell. So nobody is in hell right now. So it says here, Matthew 25, verse 41, then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. The devil, the word devil is synonymous, well, it goes hand in hand with it is synonymous with the dragon, the old serpent, which the devil and the angels are not referring to spiritual devils and a spiritual devil and spiritual angels. Is talking about the physical counterpart of the devil and the angels. The devil represents this man, also known as a beast, also known as a dragon, also known as that old serpent. And the first precepts that come to your mind when you read this, it says, prepare, it says, departed from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. Well, two scriptures that really come to mind automatically, which came to me, Matthew's 13 and Revelation 12. Those are just two that came in my head. So 41. I mean, you can read the whole chapter. This goes into the 10 virgins. Now we're in a time of the 10 virgins being manifested, because you have some guys that believe in certain things, and some are looking for the truth. Israelites have been teaching a certain doctrine, but it's almost like they're nervous. So they're scrambling to get the right information. So this is a new thing, this whole hell thing, but this has been coming up. When you go back to One West days in the 90s, the high priest Yeshaya, if anybody that knows him, he used to, every so many years, he would bring this up. We would have a meeting on it, and he would bring it up, and he would hint to the fact that there is an actual hell that you burn forever. And you would have High Priest Ariah, you would have King Mashar, and even myself and others that would say, no, you're going off. And this was one of the 7 that used to bring that up. And there'd be a big council meeting on it, and then it would get straightened out. But then maybe 3 years later, it would come up again. And if not him alone, but he's one of the main individuals, he would bring up the hell thing again. Then it'll be shut down, which was out of order. You keep bringing up something, you keep bringing up a belief system or a belief, and it keeps getting shut down. You should, not bring it up no more. So every so many years, he would bring it up, and he would sometimes do it not around the rest of the 7. And then I would go into arguing with it. And see, like I said, I'm not like IUIC. We get on IUIC and we say that most of these organization Israelite groups do this. You got the one leader, you got the leadership, whatever the leadership says, the followers just go blindly with it. Now that's okay in the beginning because you're learning. But once you learn, you're in this thing for a number of years, and you went through the scriptures, you went into scriptures that they never taught you, that you got the Spirit led you to get the understanding of, and then they'll say something that you don't see, and you question it. You might do it in a respectful manner. You'll question it, and then you pretty much say, "I don't see it," and then you show them what you mean by you don't see it, and back and forth would take place, and that happened a couple of times with me when I pulled up for certain arguments that High Priest Ariah would say, "Yes, you're right," and he did not just to me but others. He said, "You're right, and we're going to change it." Because remember, we were still in a growing stage, even among the 7. A lot of things that we teach you individuals now is stuff that we never taught. The 7 never taught us. Certain breakdowns and things, like they never went into the MOTB being a Quran because it wasn't out there. It wasn't, it wasn't spoken about. But now it's here. It's actually here. It just hasn't fulfilled the whole planet yet. So that's why we talk about it. So these other Israelite groups that came out of One West, they'll buck up against it because it was never. So they're mostly going by what the elders taught them. So I'm going to stick with what the elders say, what the 7 say, and the 7. Some of them in the spiritual realm. 2 of them, High Priest Ariah and High Priest Shaw, they're not doing anything. They're supposedly still in ICGJC, but then there's no videos on them individuals. They're not out on the highways and the byways. It's just everything is an in-house thing with them. So that's not the characteristics of a prophet or a disciple or an apostle. It says in Isaiah 30, verse 20, it says, you shall see your teachers. You should have a voice behind you. That's also, what is that? Jeremiah 3, verse 15. You can start at 12. Most I said he's going to send you teachers. So if we're looking, all of us are looking for the truth, you're not going to get them from the seven because the seven are disbanded. You got high performer high priest Yeshaya. I don't know what he's doing, but he's not on YouTube. He's not on the highways and the byways, which he used to curse people out for not going on the highways and the byways. So I don't know what he's doing. High priest Kazak. And this is for Sakari. This one individual rolled up on y'all some months ago and said that y'all are doing the right thing. Y'all teaching the word the right way. And one of y'all mentioned it, or was told to me, however it got to me. And one of y'all said, well, that the individual said that he's one of the seven, or something to that effect. I'm one of the original high priests. So when I heard that, when it got back to me, I said, I did a video on it. I said, I don't know if Alazar was out there or not. I don't know who was out there, but it was in Atlanta. And I said, well, that was Gazak, because I know Gazak had moved down to Atlanta. So I'm taking it that he's still down there in Atlanta. He moved down there years. He's been down there for years. And I believe he's originally from Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. And he was a man that he got into the history. He got into a lot of prophecies. He got into the the Byzantine information along with Yeshaya. They were the two that introduced Constantine being the Jake, and Yeshaya was the one that the first Israelite Roman emperor was Septimius Severus in 193 AD. That's not true. The first, I'll get back in the subject. Bear with me. I'm rambling a little bit. The first so-called black emperor, and there was one before him. Nerva came after Domitian. Domitian being part of the Flavian dynasty. I know this. I always speak about this, so I know it off the top of my head, back of my hand. But I believe it was Ortho. If not, it was either Galba or Ortho. When you read about the year, the four emperors, Galba, Ortho, Vitellius, and Vespasian, the first three died inside of really a year and a half. And then Vespasian reigned, and he ruled for 10 years and then died. And that's clearly in the Apocrypha in Second Ezra 11, Second Ezra 12, which no camp knows how to break that down fully. They can hit points to it, but they don't understand the full breakdown of those chapters. But I believe it was Arthur, if I'm not mistaken. If you do the research, they have each emperor had a bust. So there's a bust meaning like a sculptured head, but it's like you see part of his shoulders. That's a bust. For the ones of you that don't know what that is, that's a statue just showing his head, his shoulders, and his neck. So they had a bust of, I believe it was Ortho, and you can, well, he looked like an Edomite, but there's very many various. Matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me see. Let me come over here. Okay, let me see. Let me do it this way. Yeah. of the year of the 4 emperors. This is what I want. Okay, I'm almost positive it's ortho. If it's not ortho, it's definitely Galba. Let me do it this way. Let me do it this way. Let me see if that bust is still up there. Okay, I believe this is ortho. Let me do this. But there's one where he looks just like a Jake. You know, I'm gonna do here. Let me go ortho. Let me just do ortho. Let me do ortho. They probably took it down. Just bear me for a minute. There was one picture of his bust, and it clearly looked like a Jake. He had a fat face. Hey, this is ortho right here. Let me see something. Oh, there's more. It looks like a Jake, but there was one that he clearly looked like a Jake. Maybe this is the one. Let's see. Okay, you see the nose? The nose is chopped off. You see the face, the roundness of the face? Well, they're saying that this is Vitellius. So he could be the one that's a Jake. But sometimes they showed this image, this bust of, but it was supposed to be ortho. So maybe they're not sure whether this is ortho or Vitellius. But look at this guy, look at the guy's face. If it's not ortho, it's Vitellius. He was the one with the fat face. You can see that check out all the busts. They all got their full noses. They all got their full noses. This, you can clearly see that his nose was chiseled off. And the hair, like from a side view, you can see the hair. This guy was the face, you know, Jake got like a rounded face. You can see the nose. Look at the nose. So this guy had to be a Jake. And I'm not, don't, you know, quote me on it. Oh, well, he said he got to be a Jake. So you had Jake in high positions during the time of these emperors. Just like Jake now is coming up, you got billionaire Jakes, you got multi-millionaire Jakes, you got Jakes that are in high positions in politics and so forth. And then eventually you had you had this guy, Barack Obama, actually come up and be a black president. So that's what happened back then. That's what happened back then. But I do know for sure, I'll go with this for sure, that Nerva was the first Jake, and that was around 95 AD. So you got like Bishop Nate, he'll go into the history, then he'll mention Septimius Severus in 193 AD. He was the first Israelite president, which he got that from Yeshai. Yeshai used to always say that. And then Jake started ruling. No, it was before that. Marcus Aurelius was before Septimius Ficinius Niger, if you pronounce his name that way. He was a so-called black man. Esau will tell you that Ficinius Niger, if I'm saying his name right, he was definitely a Jake. Historians tell you, they say he was a black ruler of Rome. They'll say that more than they'll say Septimius Severus. But Septimius Severus was a Jake. Ficinius Niger was a Jake, and he came out of North Africa. Remember, when you go into the history, you read about Hannibal Barca. Hannibal Barca was an Israelite. Barca is a Hebrew word. It means either two things, either blessed or lightning. It suggests that it's lightning. Because if you say blessed lightning, you Barak or Barak. Sounds the same. You have a hard cha on lightning. So if you don't say it, if you don't pronounce it right, you don't know if the guy said lightning or blessed. But I would say his name mean lightning because he was like lightning, man. Anytime the Romans went to take the Carthaginian Empire, which that word means new city, going back into the Hebrew, anytime the Romans tried to take Carthage, they would always fail. So it started with Hannibal Barca's father and his son, Hannibal Barca. He was more into it like his father. He was a warrior like his father. And he said, let's go take the Romans out. And you know the whole story, the Alps Mountains, and most of his men died because of the cold. So, I mean, there's a lot of history there. But anyway, let me get back into this. That was kind of a side note, sort of, kind of. So it says here, then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, depart from me, ye curse, and into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. So now let's go from here to Matthew 13, I'm sorry. Matthew 13 and 38. Let's go to 38 verse. Because like I said, all Israel will be saved. Romans 9 and 26. All Israel shall be saved. The Most High is going to take away ungodliness from Jacob. In other words, we're going to be healed. The Most High didn't set up his chosen people to put, more than half of them, the majority of them having burned in slavery. That doesn't make any sense, man. And they're clearly going off. Let me see. Start from 37. He answered and said unto them, and by the way, the devil, the seed of the devil sowed the seed of the enemy and all that. Those are the Edomites, which are the tares, which the Lord in this chapter called them the tares. This is back to the basics. We shouldn't be going back to the basics, man. He that soweth the good seed is, but we have to defend it because you got certain groups saying that there's an actual place called hell that you burn up in. And if you Israelites don't wake up, first of all, there's nowhere in the scriptures where it said we all gonna wake up. That's why the Most High said the elect. So if you're not of the elect and you're an Israelite, you're gonna burn in hell forever. Doesn't make any sense, man. And we fear the Most High. That's why we teach you the truth, and that's why we're defending it, man. Okay, 38. The field is the world. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do it this way. Okay, so the field is mentioned 7 times, right? Okay, right here, right? The field is the world. Matter of fact, let me do this. Look up the word world. I don't know if it's going to be cosmos. Okay, it's cosmos. So cosmos means the Israelites, but where are the Israelites scattered? They're scattered throughout the whole planet, right? Good seed in the field. We're scattered throughout the whole planet, right? 27, didst not thou sow good seed in the field? Sands of the sea, stars of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field. And where the mustard seed, right? It says, which indeed is the least of all seeds. That's Deuteronomy 7, least of all the nations, smallest of all the nations. Give me a second. That's one of the brothers. Yeah, that was one of the brothers calling. It's snowing right now, so I told him to call me back at 12. See what we're gonna do. Okay, so the field means the world, the whole planet, because Israel, the word world, cosmos, is throughout the whole planet Earth. Um, Let me go back to the mustard seed. Which indeed is the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branch thereof. That represents Israel. We started off small, insignificant, and now we're all over the place, but now there has to be a gathering. But the deliverance is going to come only to the elect. The rest of our people that are scattered throughout other countries, we're going to go around the world, and they're going to accept us in the day of thy power. Thy people shall be willing. We're going to have a power. We're going to be like the X-Men, Supermen, the superheroes. And they're going to acknowledge us as the gods, and we're going to tell them that you are gods too. And we're going to enslave the whole world. So that stuff, if you're not into this truth, you're going to burn in hell forever. That the Lord is a merciful God. He's not even going to make Esau burn in hell forever. All right, the field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, which are the Israelites, starting with the elect. But the tares are the children of the wicked one. So who's the tares? The Edomites. Who was in rulership? The Edomites, as the Romans. The enemy that saw them as the devil. The harvest is the end of the world. And the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of the world. So what does it mean gathered and burned in the fire? They're not going to gather and actually burn in the fire. That's parabolic talk, for they're going to shoot, missiles are going to be shot on them. It says, the Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend and them which do iniquity. That's Esau. And then there's Jake too. But they're going to come back. Daniel 12 tells you in the kingdom that they're going to, some to shame and some to everlasting, some to everlasting contempt. They're going to feel bad. Another scripture said they're going to loathe themselves. So all Israel is going to come back, no matter what you did. The only sin that you cannot be forgiven of is a sin of blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. And Jake don't do that. Jake doesn't know the name of the Most High. And shall cast them into a furnace of fire. So is that an actual furnace? No, it's parabolic for the missiles. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. When is that going to happen? When the missiles are shot. World War III, the War of Armageddon. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of heaven. That's Daniel 12. And their father, who have ears to hear, let him hear. So, okay, another precept that comes to mind, Revelation 12. And go right to the point. It says in Matthew 13, prepare for the devil and his angels, right? No. Matthew's 25 and 41, prepare for the devil and his angels. Who's the devil and his angels? The devil and his angels are Edomites, and they're not going to go into a fiery abyss and burn forever. They're going into captivity. It says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon. That's Esau, but it represents his power, having 7 heads and 10 horns. We know the story about that. And that was during the time of the Lord being born. That's in Matthew 2. The male trial is YAHAWASHI. The angel Michael, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angel fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So in Matthew 25 and 41, it says the devil and his angels. Well, the devil, the word dragon and devil and serpent is interchangeable. That's in Revelation 20. It says, and the dragon fought and his angels. So when it says prepared in Matthew's 25 and 41, prepared for the devil and his angels, it ain't talking about some mythical hell. It's not talking about some spiritual hell that you burn forever. That's some Roman Catholic bullshit, man. I don't know if you guys been compromised. And prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven. What is that talking about? The sky, space. The same dragon or Satan is talking about the Edomites. So when everything's said and done, there's no such thing as a spiritual hell. When you die, you don't go to a spiritual hell. That in the book of Luke, when it speaks about the rich man and Lazarus, that was nothing but a parable. So if you're going off on something, you're supposed to be corrected. Now, you might not be corrected, but somebody that's watching GMS and ISUPK and IUIC and Sakari and HODC, if the Most High is leading them, if they're part of the elect, the Most High is going to lead them to the truth, which they all teach that they're Israel. But then you become a part of the IUIC. Now, if it's straightened up and they say, well, no, we didn't say that, and I'll say, oh, okay, I take everything back. But I heard your man, I believe that was in Tallahassee, whatever, he said it. I did 2 videos on it, where he said, well, you got one hell, which is the condition that we're living in, and then you got another hell, which is the lake of fire, which is a spiritual place that your spirit goes into and you burn forever. That's some Roman Catholic shit. That's Greek. The Roman Catholics got that from Greek mythology. Orpheus and Peniphanes, I think you pronounce it. Peniphanes. And that was about Peniphanes, if I'm saying it right. She was banished to hell, and Orpheus was supposed to get her and play, because he played the lyre or the harp, I believe it was. And they said that if you want to get her back, you got to play the harp. She'll follow you, but if you look back, she's going to go into the abyss and she'll be lost forever. And she was beautiful. And watch the movie Black Orpheus. So he's walking and she's following him. And then he had to look back. And when he looked back, she fell into the abyss forever. Persophones. And that's the statue that's on the Capitol building in DC. They call it the what they call it, the Statue of Freedom. That's Persophones. Everything that Esau got come from the left-hand side. Isaiah 47 and 10 on down. So now, like I said, I don't want to make this long. Now I want to go to Joel 3 real quick. And I want to attempt to go through the whole book. Joel 3. Okay, let's see if we can do the whole thing. The nations will be judged. Will be whole in those days and in that time. when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of YAHAWASHI, which means Yahweh's judgment, and will plead. The word there is judge, Shapat, judge, plead with them or judge them there for my people, which are the Israelites, and for my heritage, Yasha'Allah, whom they have scattered among the nations. There you go again. And parted my land. They took the land that's in Ezekiel 36. And they have cast lots for my people and have given the boy for an harlot. Now that's talking about the slave trade. They put him in boats, and then they put him on auction blocks, and they would give money and they would give gifts. And this really first happened when they came over to the Africans. They would give them trinkets and different things to the Africans to sell us into slavery. And part of those people that were putting us in slavery were other Israelites in higher rank, and sold a girl for wine. That this is on the African side, that they might drink. Yeah, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon? That's it. The Arab nations, because they were part of the slave trade too. That's why they're second on the list in Psalms 83. Edom is number 1 and Ishmael's number 2. And all the coast of Palestine, will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, recompense means to pay back. And recompense goes into the word reparations. So your reparations are not good enough. We got to take everything. Swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and that's the Arabs, and that's Esau, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. See, the Arabs became rich off of stealing our resources. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. Now you notice it said the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, who dwelt in Jerusalem. Judah, you had the southern kingdom, Judah, then you had Benjamin and Levi. Levi was scattered among the other tribes. So when it says Judah, it's talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Have ye sold unto the Grecians? The word Grecians is talking about the Yawan, which goes back to the sons of Japheth. But who pushed the sons of Japheth out? Esau. So when it says Grecians, it's talking about the so-called white man. That ye might remove them far from their border. How far? All the way over here to the Americas. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them. What's the main place? The United States. And then you have other places around the world, but the deliverance is going to come out of the elect is going to come out of America, but then you're going to have the elect that are scattered. But the majority of the elect are right here in America, and will return your recompense upon your own head. Now, Allah said in a video last night that, see, TAHAR doesn't know who the elect is. And ultimately, yeah, but you have a good idea. If a guy falls off, he goes back to being a Baptist 20 years ago, I'm going to deem him as being not of the elect. Very simple. What do we call ourselves? We call ourselves the hopeful elect. We don't necessarily say that we're the elect. We call ourselves the hopeful elect because we hope that we are the elect. Because you can do all the work in the world, but let's say the last year you get disenchanted and you fall out, then guess what? You were not of the elect, and those works don't follow you. We had a couple of guys, 6 guys leave right during the change from 2022 to 2023, which is a couple of months from the Passover. really 2 months from the Passover. And that always happens. Right before the Passover, you get a bunch of guys that either get kicked out or they leave or they become disenchanted. So one guy got offended, but he'd been in this thing for years. And the first time he saw Brother Polite roll up on us on the whole grape doctrine, he was offended by that, but he never said nothing. So he finally said the apostles should have answered a different way. What kind of way should we answer it? Peter said, when they ask you a question, be ready to answer. Give a good answer. And that grape doctrine stands. You know, you guys that can't see it is because you caught up in your emotion. And that's all right. You emotional. You might have had daughters. I can't picture but guess what? That's the scripture. That's the law. It says, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah. This is for Vocab Malone. This is for Vocab Malone. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, which are Hamites, because you're going to have these other nations. You're going to have ranks among captivity. You're going to have these other, because they're not going to. The other nations, the dark nations, are not going to catch hell like Esau, but they're going to be up under us. They're still going to be our servants. To a people far off, for the Lord have spoken it. Because guess what? These other nations will be able to do trade too. And these other nations will be able to have servants up under them if we allow it. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, the other nations, prepare war. Now, I was watching something on RT News that they're doing military drills. You have Russia, China, and South Africa. They're doing military drills right now. If you go to the latest videos on RT, which is on Odyssey, it said, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles and nations, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords, modern day swords, which are missiles, and your pruning hooks and the spears, which are missiles. Let the weak say, I'm strong. What's the great equalizer? The missiles. Hey, the first thing that Biden said in February last year, some what do you call it? Newspaper person said, "Are we going to get involved in the war?" And Biden said, "No, because if we do, that would be World War III." And what does World War III mean? It means the end of all wars. Einstein said, I don't know how World War III is going to end up, but I know World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones because everything will be annihilated, but everything will not be annihilated because the Most High is only going to, the focus is going to be on the U.S. And certain other places are going to get hit, but they're going to be built back up. The islands are going to still be here. Canada is going to still be here. South America is going to still be here. So the angels are going to control where the missiles go. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathens, ye nations, and gather yourself together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Those are the angels. It speaks about the 4 archangels being in the great river Euphrates, and speaks about Euphrates in Revelation 9 and started 12 verse in Revelation 16. The Euphrates being dried up. So the things that have happened, you keep your eyes on the Middle East. All the attention is going to come off of the Russian and the Ukrainian situation. Is going to they're all going to be gathered. All these military nations that carry these missiles, they're all going to converge in the Middle East, the Great Levant. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh's judgment. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow. And that's in Revelation chapter 14. That they're going to be the Edomites. They're going to be like grapes in a wine press, and somebody's going to come and stomp on them. The angel of the Lord is going to stomp on them. That's parabolic. Ain't nobody going to put Esau in a big wine vat and step on them. That's parabolic for them being destroyed. It says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow. The fat represents their blood, for their wickedness is great. Whose wickedness is great? Esau's wickedness is great. Now you got the regular average Joe Edomite that don't have no power. Well, guess what? You're gonna be destroyed based upon what your leaders did. You should have fought against your leaders. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahawah is near, even the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Yahawah also shall roar out of Zion. And it says he shall scream like a woman in travail, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, and Yahawah will be the hope of his people. Who are the hope of his people? And this is a prophecy that has not, Joel 3 is yet to take place. So now you got Vocab saying that the Israelites in Revelation chapter 7 is referring to the body of believers. You can be of any nation. That's bullshit, because this is what it says. This is talking about what's getting ready to happen. This the war of Armageddon. The Lord will be the hope of his people. Let's find out who his people are, and the strength of the children of Israel. So who is the Lord's people? The children or the sons of Israel. I'm almost finished. So shall ye know that I am Yahawah, your power, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy. That's the kingdom. And that's when the new covenant is here, but it's not put inside of us. And there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. Judah will be blessed. And Judah means when Judah is blessed, the rest of Israel is going to be blessed. And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine. Now, what does wine represent? It represents wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with water. Milk represents the knowledge. Water also represents the knowledge. You're baptized by water, but it's going to be a physical kingdom. So we're going to have access to, the land of milk and honey. And a fountain shall come forth of the house of the Lord, Yahawah, and shall water the valley of Shittim. Now this is all in the kingdom. Judah will be blessed. Now the word blessed means for somebody to bow down to you. Doesn't mean you hit the lotto. You hit the lotto for $10 million. That doesn't make you blessed. Being blessed is when you're in your kingdom and you're on top of the other nations, and the nations bow down to you. Look up the word blessed, Barak. One of the definitions is for somebody to kiss the hand or bow down to you. Who's blessed? The only people that's being blessed is not even all Edomites. It's the small hats. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolation. Now, why does it say Egypt and Edom? Because it's talking about the spiritual Egypt. Go to Revelation 11. Edom is talking about the Edomites. So if this prophecy is yet to come to pass, then how is Edomites are done away with? There's no such thing as an Edomite. Joel 3 is yet to come to pass. Shall be a desolate wilderness. So another name for Babylon is the land of Edom, for the violence against the children of Judah. When is this going to take place? Vocab Malone, this is yet to take place. Just ask Vocab. So when did Joel 3, you can give them the whole chapter, you can go to certain precepts. When did that take place? And it hasn't taken place. So it hasn't taken place. That means the Edomites are still here. And we identify the Edomites because they have shed innocent blood in their land. But YAHAWAH shall dwell forever. That's a kingdom. And that's all of Israel. Ain't going to be one Israelite going to be burned in some spiritual eternal hell. And there's no such thing as no spiritual eternal hell. The lake of fire is talking about a bird's eye view or a schematic of John looking down at Babylon the Great being on fire. And Jerusalem from generation to generation. But Judah, YAHAWAH shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. So there's not going to be any nation that's going to roll up and take us down. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for YAHAWAH dwelleth in Zion. We are Zion. Zion is the Hebrew word to Zion, which means monument. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.